And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Donovan Live Postgame Show here on WKYC's Facebook Live with Jimmy Donovan. I'm Dave DiNatale. The Browns getting ready to head to San Diego. I already did.
$5 fine.
Yeah, $5 fine.
Yeah,
Yep. To Los Angeles, actually to Carson, California.
Going to have a heck of a Christmas party here at Channel 3. That's where all the money goes.
But it's interesting, and I know Hugh Jackson was asked about it today. Browns are leaving tomorrow. You're going to get on the wide body tomorrow to head out to California.
That's right. A
day earlier than a lot of trips, not counting the London trip, of course.
Yeah,
but
right.
A day earlier.
Some coaches do it very differently. There's two streams of thought. Number one, if you go early, you get the body adjusted to the jet lag or the time difference. Number two, you just fly in and do it and then get home. And it all varies. I mean, I'm trying to think. There was a coach, we went out there a couple of times and we used to go out on Friday. I think it was Butch Davis used to take the team out on Friday. The last time we went out there was just a couple of years ago, and we went out the day before the game, and they lost in overtime in that game. So I can remember the big bone of contention in the old days was going to Denver.
Oh, yes.
And when the Browns were in those AFC championship games against Elway and the Broncos, I can remember one time they did it where they just flew in, and then, I think that might have been the fumble game, and they lost. And then there was another game where they went in where they actually...
Did they go to New Mexico?
We went to Albuquerque, New Mexico for the week. Stayed out at the University of New Mexico, and I would do my live shots back to Channel 3 from the Pit, their famous basketball arena. And then we went into Denver on Friday. The game was Sunday, and it was an AFC championship game, and there are a couple of ways to do it. But Carson brought them out a little bit early, and Marty took them out for a week to get climatized.
Now, I promise we'll get back to 2017 in a second, but wasn't there also...
But it's so good to go back
to those days. I'd rather go back to 1986, 87.
A lot of people would.
Even when the Browns were hosting playoff games, is my memory correct that Marty Schottenheimer used to take the Browns to Dodgertown, to Vero Beach, to train for a couple of days before a playoff game? Is my memory correct with that?
You are right, Karnak. Yes.
Why? I never understood. You're not playing in 70 degrees at the stadium. You're playing in the cold.
I'll tell you why he did it. And he did it because the pandemonium back here in Cleveland was at such a fever pitch.
Yes, it was.
When the Browns were in those building up to the playoff games, and this was '86 when they were the number one seed. They were 12-4, and they went down to Dodgertown, like you say, down in Naples, right?
Yeah, or Vero Beach.
Vero Beach. I'm sorry, Vero Beach. I was down there with them, and they went down, and they spent basically 5 days down there. And it was warm, like you say, but it was to kind of get them out of what was going on back here. Now, I have to tell you, it really didn't work that well because they came back, and on a Saturday afternoon, they played the Jets, the famous game against the Jets, the double overtime win. But let me tell you, they did not play well.
They were flat.
They were flat all day long. Kozar was throwing a lot of interceptions, and they struggled. They finally woke up late in the game and got helped out by Mark Gastineau's roughing the passer penalty, and they tied the game and then won the game in the second overtime. He would take them out of town, but I think it was mostly to get them away from the hysteria back here. And I can remember, can I tell the funny story about that?
Okay, please.
So we're flying home, and it's New Year's Eve, and we're coming out of Vero Beach, but it's a big plane, okay? Well, Vero Beach's runways and their airport, not that big. Okay, not that big. So we're all sitting in the plane, and a ferocious thunderstorm rolls into the area, and that's what happens down there. At like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're getting ready to depart, and I mean, the wind and the rain is just belting the plane. And we're all sitting on the plane, and I am sitting across the aisle from Art Modell. Because he would fly with the team. But he always sat in the back of the plane. I give him a lot of credit. The veteran players sat up front, and the coaches after that. And here's the owner of the team. He's sitting in the back, okay? So we're sitting in the plane, a ferocious storm. Winds, rain, everything. Black clouds swarming the plane. No way we're going to take off. And the pilot comes over the overhead PA and says, all right, we have a window to get out. A small window to get out. And we're going to give it a go. And I have to tell you, some of the biggest Browns players were screaming, and one of them gets up and yells out, "We're not playing till Saturday, let's wait." But then he came back on and he said, when I say a window, I mean miles. It's probably 3 or 4 miles we can get out.
Yes.
We shoot through this window and we get home. It was New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It was quite a moment. I'm going to tell you, those Browns teams were fun.
Oh, yeah.
And winning.
Yes. It was, when we tell you, it was
just so much fun, wasn't it?
Oh, it was
you
great.
would count the days until they played.
It was. I mean, you built your whole week around the game. It was. It was. You know, our buddy Tony Grossi, when he was writing for the Plain Dealer, he'd have articles. I couldn't wait to pull the paper.
Happy.
He was happier
at that point. Look at him
this
now.
wasn't the 100 Years' War. He was happy.
A mess right now.
And I couldn't wait till to watch Inside the NFL, and it was on HBO at the time, because then you'd get to watch the Browns highlights.
Len Dawson and Nick Bonacani.
Yeah. Couldn't wait till to see ESPN and see the Edge matchup and all that. You build your week around getting ready to watch a key Browns football game with Bernie Kosar and the Dogs and everything. And that's why we always tell you, for those who, and we just talked about this a week or so ago, about this lost generation of fans, there really was a time when all the world was Brownstown right here in Cleveland.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So now, flash forward, however you want to put it, to 2017. Now the Browns are going to Los Angeles. That's Hugh Jackson territory.
Right.
And, he said, hey, look, this isn't a homecoming. I'm not happy about being, where we are right now. But I almost get the feeling, Jimmy, that going into this game, maybe this might be the best chance the Browns have had for a victory here. And I know the Chargers are playing well.
Yeah, they're playing
Understand
very
that.
well, yeah.
Understand that. But just that, look, they're on the road. They seem to play better sometimes away from the stadium. I don't know why that is, but it is. And you get the shot in the arm of having Gordon back.
Well, that's the unknown. You're right. And that's the exciting unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, we're hoping that bears fruit and that he goes out, he plays well, he plays a long period of time, and he's productive. And you know what? I mean, I think that there's a good chance that will happen. I think he's going to get the opportunity to make that happen, and we'll see how it all goes. San Diego is playing very well.
Yeah.
Now, remember,
by the way, that's $5.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. There you go. I'll tell you what. Swedish meatballs for everybody at the Christmas party. Another $5. Anyway, the Chargers are playing really well. Remember, they were 0-4.
Yeah.
Now they're 5-6. And they've won 5 out of 7. They've won 2 in a row. They've scored 82 points in the last 2 games. They scored, in the 50s against Buffalo, and then they had the big win against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day in Dallas. So they're playing really well. They have an exceptional pass rush with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram on each side. I mean, it's what we would hope for with Myles Garrett and Emmanuel Ogbah when he gets healthy again. But you may be right. I mean, you may be right. Plus, they're going to have a lot of fans.
Right.
The Browns are going to have a lot of fans out there from the Southern California Browns-Packers.
Now, when I look at the Chargers, though, this is another one of those teams. We talked about it, like Tampa Bay was one of the teams we mentioned that, they were down with the Browns for a while. I remember when they were San Diego Chargers and they drafted Joey Bosa, and they were, one of the teams to draft first. They've had a lot of early draft picks, and they've been able to make the most of it. Melvin Gordon, Ingram, Bosa.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this year, the kid they draft for them, the kid they drafted, Mike Williams, the wide receiver out of Clemson, he has not been healthy all year. And he's hurt again. He's got a bruised knee. So they are going through kind of what we went through with Corey Coleman, certainly in his rookie year. And Williams is a rookie, and I don't think he's going to play on Sunday. But you're right. Melvin Gordon, remember, I mean, there was this mission statement by everybody in the NFL that after the Trent Richardson failure, going for a running back high in the draft, stay away from running backs high in the draft.
Yeah.
But Melvin Gordon has been a big pick. Ezekiel Elliott, when he's
Gurley,
when he's okay, when he's not suspended, he's a great player. Gurley, absolutely. So I think that's ended. But Melvin Gordon was one of the people.
Yeah, and it's just it's.
But Gordon didn't have a big rookie year.
No, he didn't. No,
but he had a great year last year. He was 3 yards shy of 1,000. Don't you think they got to give it him one?
Exactly.
But I mean, I think Crowell was only a few yards,
right?
Like 9:59 or something
like that.
He was 45 yards away, I think, from getting 1,000.
But it goes to show again that if you bring in the right people, and again they've got a really veteran in Phillip Rivers, but they've got the veteran quarterback. But if you draft properly and you bring in the right people, and they've been patient with the coach, and they've kind of let him here try to get out of this 0-4 hole, well, all of a sudden now you're seeing a little bit of fruit borne out. Now they have an opportunity here, if they can play well in December, to compete for a division title. Yeah, it just goes to show you.
Yeah, right. I mean, because the pack has come back in the West. The Chiefs, the Raiders were supposed to be dominant out there in the West. And, I mean, they're not having a great year. Kansas City got off to that amazing start, but they've been losing every week now. And they're even thinking about benching Alex Smith at some point and putting Patrick Mahomes in. So you're right. I mean, and Anthony Lynn, I liked Anthony Lynn when he was here. He's their first-year head coach. He was the running backs coach here. Yeah. Met his wife here, Stacey Bell, who worked over at Fox.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, really nice person. Yeah. And anyway, he's a hard-nosed. He was a hard-nosed running back coach. He really was. I think Bill Parcells had an influence on him, and I know Parcells really admired him and liked him and kind of helped him with his career. So good for him. Good for him. Hope he does well. Not so much Sunday.
Not so much Sunday. Now, Saturday, of course, it was kind of nice for you and Grossi and all the Browns traveling party. Because you have the extra day, you may actually be able to sit and watch some college football, some of the championship games on Saturday, including, of course, the Big Ten championship game, which will be Saturday night in Indianapolis. Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. I just wanted to bring it last chance to be able to talk to you between now and then. I don't think the Buckeyes. Stranger things have happened. I don't think the Buckeyes are going to see everything work their way to get to the Final Four and be a playoff football team. But this is an important game, I think, for Urban Meyer. I mean, there's been everybody's assuming that Ohio State is going to go in and win this game and make everybody's life difficult trying to see who's going to be a playoff team. But I don't think people are giving this Badger team a lot of credit. And I think Ohio State's just got to make sure, focus-wise, they don't lose it against an unbeaten Wisconsin team that's got everything to lose.
I have never seen an undefeated team have such a low bar to get over as Wisconsin gets to go into this game. I mean, they're an underdog, a pretty healthy underdog going into the game. They're undefeated, but everyone says, that side of the Big Ten, that side of the division is very weak. Now, you can make a case for that, but they are undefeated. They do play well. It's the type of team that could give Ohio State problems because they possess the ball for so long.
Right.
I mean, if what they do so well works Saturday night, i.e. run the football, then it's like playing Navy when Navy's really got that triple option working because you just don't possess the football that much. And if you fall behind, the clock becomes an enemy to you too. The other thing is I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for Wisconsin because I admire their program. I have never seen a program that really knows who they are like Wisconsin. Yep. They know who they are. They're big, corn-fed, dairy-produced offensive linemen that all end up first-round picks in the NFL. They're running backs, okay, and they are overachievers on defense, led now by the ultimate overachiever, Jim Leonhard.
Yep.
Jim Leonhard, who finished out his career with the Browns. His desire was to retire quietly, but very, very productive in his NFL career. Always played well, smart player. Wanted to go home to Wisconsin, which he did, and coach. And here he is, the defensive coordinator. And I have to tell you, they play good defense. Now, whether or not that stands up to Ohio State will be very interesting. And the whole J.T. Barrett part of the story is fascinating because of the knee injury before the Michigan game. It locked up on him during the game. The other kid comes in and bails them out, and they win the game. And Barrett apparently had surgery on Sunday.
But he's going to play.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Speaking of which, by the way, real quick, Cavs note. Just found out before we went on. Iman Shumpert is going to have arthroscopic knee surgery tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that's just a bit of a Cavs note for you. But yeah, I mean Barrett. And I thought, I was so impressed with what Haskins did. I mean, come in cold, and I mean, they didn't ask him to do very much, but what he was able to do, he did extremely well.
Oh yeah. Well, that big third down pass.
Oh yeah.
When he first came into the game was really. I mean, because didn't they get false start?
Yes.
False start.
Yep.
You know, they had communication problems, which you typically do if you have a new center or a new quarterback. And that happened, and yet he stuck a throw right in there.
Exactly.
And really made a big throw, and I think that got him going, and it got them going. You know, the thing is, you take a look at it. I mean, the ACC Conference Championship game, that's a play-in game to get into the playoffs. So I think winner gets in.
Yes.
Okay? I'm thinking it's going to be Clemson.
Me too, but
I don't know about Miami. I mean, and I think the SEC is a play-in game.
Auburn, Georgia.
Winner gets in. Georgia, Auburn. The thing that's scary for Ohio State is that Alabama went down to 5, only 5 after losing to Auburn.
Yeah. I mean,
because it seems like they want to put Alabama in. Yeah.
So, I mean, if Ohio State wins and then you get...
Now, do they have to win big, like they did when Cardell Jones left?
I don't think it has to be 59-0 but it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. But, you get that Ohio State win, then you got to I think you really have
TCU to beat Oklahoma?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
that's the Big 12.
That's the ticket. Then I think you can say, okay, maybe you can get in. But, you're starting to hope for, 2 things to happen. I mean...
Yeah. You know what's amazing, though? This thing really worked because in the court of public opinion, everybody is talking about these scenarios.
Yes.
Every sports show, ESPN, all these cable sports shows, that's all they're talking. And that is what you do. That's what you do. You create it. Not so much now when it's bracketology in the NCAA basketball tournament because they have so many automatic ins in these conference tournaments. But this is different. I mean, everybody's playing the combinations. What happens if Clemson loses? Do they still get in? Does Auburn get in, with the 2 losses? Does Ohio State leave from? It's fascinating what they've been able to do, the marketing on this thing.
I think, and people were all worried that was going to go away because, we're not subjected to just bowls anymore. Now it's a playoff. I think it's been terrific.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I think it has hurt are the bowl games.
Yeah.
The satellite bowl games have been probably hurt because really they're almost exhibitions.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Now, now it's
really what they're used for. I think. Would you agree with me? Those coaches love them to get the extra practices leading up.
Right. And they'll say that. I mean, maybe it's a bit of a recruiting tool if you get some kids to watch on New Year's Day morning if you're playing in the Citrus Bowl or something. But I mean, if you're not one of the Final 4, it's kind of I hate to say it, it's kind of irrelevant.
Well, here's the other thing too that where it hurts the bowl games. So say you're Alabama, and say Alabama doesn't get into the top 4, and you send them to a bowl game. Yeah. Now you're getting Alabama light in the bowl game because those kids. They go to Alabama to play in those playoff games and win a national championship. Believe me, it's a tough day for them on Saturday that they're not in the SEC championship game. I mean, they just kind of take that for granted. Do you remember Alabama? This happened to Alabama, and they went in, they played Oklahoma in like the Sugar Bowl and got blown out because they just weren't into it.
Right.
Ohio State one year went down and played Florida and got beat. I mean, and you just wonder sometimes. Yet I would give Ohio State a lot of credit. The year they didn't get in and they played Notre Dame, they were ready.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they pounded Notre Dame in that game.
That was a great game too. Last thing, because I saw David had it up on the screen. Congratulations to our buddy Joe Thomas, Brown's left tackle. He has launched his new podcast.
Wow.
It is titled The First Podcast in NFL History. Actually, I don't think it's the first, Joe. I don't think it's the first podcast in NFL history, but I love that you're doing it.
It's the first to be called that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm wondering what he's up to, because he really took to doing some funny stuff for the Browns in their media shows. I mean, he used to wear the funny black top hat and do, I don't know what was it? Do you remember
it was like the Joe Thomas Hour, I think it was called.
Right.
Or something that.
He would interview teammates or members of the media or whatever, and kind of turn the tables on them. And I'm wondering, is he thinking media at all?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm really wondering because he's really come out of his shell.
I know, it's amazing. When I first heard Joe Thomas was going to be on Twitter, it was like, okay, well, whatever. His personality has been, since he discovered social media, his personality has been really brought out there. I'm with you.
I wonder what he's going to do.
I don't know.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I give him a lot of credit. He is very connected to the football team, even with this injury.
Yep.
I mean, he coaches these guys. I'm sure he has been with Spencer Drango all week long, because Drango's either going to be lined up against Melvin Ingram or Joey Bosa, and he's going to have to be able to handle it. It doesn't matter if you have 5 Josh Gordons if Deshaun Kaiser is on the seat of his pants.
That's right. It does.
So Joe's done a phenomenal job, because sometimes players will say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm bummed out that I'm hurt. But he's been all in. Yeah, I give him a lot of credit.
And he went up to his alma mater this week in Madison on the off day on Tuesday and did some charity work to get ready for Ohio State, Wisconsin.
Wow, that's great.
That's what he does.
Great. Yep.
He's a Cleveland treasure.
And a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No question about it. All right. Safe travels to Los Angeles.
Right.
We'll hear your call Sunday, and we'll see you back next week.
Okay.
All right. For Jimmy Donovan, I'm Dave DiNatale. Thanks so much for watching the Donovan Live Postgame Show right here on WKYC's Facebook Live.